Welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. Now, on the 5th of March, Kenyans witnessed the pathetic scenes of so-called political leaders going rogue as they fought over the 2 constituencies and 5 ward slots in the by-elections. The results are in, with the winners and losers announced, but Kenya will emerge the greatest loser if the general elections will be similar to the mini polls that were predicted to be a litmus test for 2022. There have been some arrests made of the leaders involved, but many have since been released on bond, with their arrests being somewhat bragging rights for their political godfathers. One thing is clear: these politicians and their actions are simply pathetic. Simply put, shame on you. There is nothing mheshimiwa about you, and the country can definitely do without leaders and politics like yours. This is also coming up on NTV Weekend Edition. Tonight, leaders behaved badly in bloody by-elections. Now the government is talking tough.
I've asked the Firearm Licensing and Control Board to suspend all licenses of all the people involved, the leaders who were involved in that violence yesterday.
Former CS Rashid Echesa finally arrested for slapping an IEBC official. Also tonight, Health Director General Patrick Amoth becomes the first Kenyan to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
Mimi mwenyewe nimesimama hapa nimechanjwa. Unaona kitu yote mbaya na mimi? Si niko poa.
Inoculation of health workers and other frontline workers kicks off countrywide in the first phase of vaccinations. Plus, a movie-like scene played out on Kisumu streets. A man grabs a gun from a police officer and shoots indiscriminately.
On looking my leg, I saw blood.
Tena ni kama mtu amezoea pistol.
Now 2 of the victims are dead, and the shooter didn't live long enough to explain his actions. And
NTV has been on the road.
NTV is back on the road and headed straight to the sea.
New level.
Sea level?
County Edition begins tonight.
This is Weekend Edition with Mark Masai.
And I'm not alone. David Agundo is our sign language interpreter, and we will also be joined by Olive Burrows in Mombasa as NTV on the Sea begins today. We will be there for the next 2 days, with the weekend edition, of course, having a good part featuring the coastal part of this country. Now, with the by-elections just concluded, one would not be labeled alarmist for getting concerned about the political future of the country, considering general elections are just around the corner. Interior Minister Fred Matiang'i has hit out hard at the politicians behaving badly, and Anita Nkonge reports on what happened on the 5th of March and why, as a nation, we need to be worried.
Assaulting a presiding electoral officer.
This is my money!
Fighting over 2 million shillings at a polling station. Arrests for misuse of firearms and alleged intimidation of voters. Tear gas. Tension. Chaos. This was the state of the just concluded by-elections in Kabuchai and Matungu constituencies, and happening just 17 months to the general election. In a statement, the Inspector General of Police warns political leaders behaving badly that stern action would be taken against them. Police commanders in areas that held by-elections are instructed to arraign 4 leaders for misusing their firearms. Nandi Senator Samson Cheragai, MPs Didmas Barasa, Wilson Kogo and Nelson Koech were also stripped of their firearms licenses, and while in custody, seemed to have shown no remorse. They have since been released on bond.
I've asked the Firearm Licensing and Control Board to suspend all licenses of all the people involved, the leaders who were involved in that violence yesterday, because it's clear under the law you cannot own a firearm when you are that type of person.
But this is not an isolated incident. Past elections have witnessed similar scenes of chaos, bribery and violence. Interior Minister Fred Matiang'i now says such behavior will no longer be tolerated.
We are going to act because we have been talking about no stone is going to be left unturned and so on. The reason why this has continued for a long time is because people don't face the consequences, the real consequences of this. Some of those people slapping returning officers and so on and presiding officers are out on bond on several other cases because they believe you will arrest them, they'll go before a magistrate, they'll be out on 10,000 shillings bond. We are going to adopt a different method of doing this, which is we will now go to court ourselves. And the Honorable Attorney General has advised me, as government, we can actually go to court, invoke Chapter 6, and ask that some people be declared unfit to hold public office. When that consequence happens, when that is done, then our leaders will actually understand that it is not right to behave the way people are behaving.
Speaking of consequences, if this is anything to go by, Rashid Echesa has today been arrested for assaulting an IBC official on Thursday. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
A number of leaders have condemned the violence and called for action against perpetrators as the government continues to talk tough. But most importantly, what do you as a voter think about what happened yesterday? Do share your thoughts with us on our social media platforms at NTV Kenya. But as you do that, here's a sample of what some of you had to say.
Kama uchaguzi ya MCA inaweza fanywa na ndege, inaweza fanywa na panga, inaweza fanywa na tear gas, kumaanisha uchaguzi ya mwaka ujao itakuwa ni uchaguzi ambaye kama wananchi hawatatoa macho na wakuwe makini mzuri, hii nchi inaelekea mahali mbaya. Na ni lazima tukosoe serikali yenyewe, sababu serikali ndio imepewa jukumu ya kulinda na kutetea sheria.
Hii ni kuinsight watu ambaye ni wadogo, kwa maana ikifikia wakati ambaye wanakuja piga viongozi na kuweka tear gas, hiyo ni kuonyesha kwamba hii nchi bado iko nyuma sana.
Politicians wamechukua nafasi ya kututumia vibaya instead ya kuaddress problems ambao inaweza kusaidia wananchi, lakini wamechukua nafasi ya kugawanya wananchi. Wanajaribu kukuja na matumbo yao, wanajaribu kukuja mashinani.
Sisi kama raia tunaomba kwamba tusije tukapiganishwa na wanasiasa, sababu wanasiasa kitu moja wanafanya hivyo sababu ya tumbo zao ili waweze kuingia kwenye mamlaka, lakini mwananchi wa kawaida anawachwa hohehahe, ana mbele wala nyuma.
Kenya hii tumepiga kura kwa mwaka mingi. Tunataka kuona kwamba kura ambayo tunaenda kupika 2022 iwe ya amani.
Kenyans have to decide whether 2022 will take that route or not. You have to decide who you want to lead you. If you want a hooligan to lead you, because basically there are structures, there are political party structures, and also how people to conduct themselves during voting sessions. Why will there be somebody assaulting an IBC official? I think that should be really shunned, and such politicians should be dealt with accordingly.
Let's get to the responses from the wins and losses in the by-elections. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi says the win in Matungu is a warning shot to ODM leader Raila Odinga and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya that ODM's dominance in Western region is waning. Mudavadi says now a combination of himself and Wetangula will be the only door to the region. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Morethi wraps up his coverage of Matungu by-elections and the implication at the national level.
Nothing summarized the win for the Amani National Congress Party better than their victory lap outside the Bulimbo Primary School. They were making their way into the MP-elect Peter Oscar Nabulindo's home. For Musalia Mudavadi, the party leader, the point had been made. His political soldiers had returned home with the coveted prize and restored his glory.
Today we are proud people because the people of Matungu have spoken for the whole of Western Kenya. And on our behalf they have said, gentlemen and ladies, Western Kenya si pahali pa kuchezewa tena.
Peter Oscar Nabulindo has been duly elected as a member of the National Assembly for Matungu constituency in the election held on 4th day of March 2021.
For Nabolindo, the victory now places him amongst the country's waheshimiwa. But for Mudavadi and the party, the message was clear. We are not a pushover.
We have a long journey. That journey is to the leadership of this country, to State House, to the presidency. And the people of Matungu and Kabuchai have taken the first step for us.
The difference in votes between Nabolindo and his closest competitor, ODM's David Were, was 3,600 votes. The ANC says it was a lesson to ODM leader Raila Odinga to respect Mudavadi. It's also a lesson to Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who they say was using this election to topple Mudavadi as the region's kingpin.
Hii agenda ya kufanya mnada kwa watu wa Western Kenya, mnawachukua, mnadanganya watu fulani kwamba wewe umeshika watu wa Western Kenya, umeweka kwa mfuko na unaweza kuwapeleka pahali popote unataka kuwapeleka. Sasa waibike, wajue kwamba huo mchezo umekwisha. We are not worth 30 pieces of silver.
This victory actually shows that he is now in total control of the Western region or the Luhya nation.
We want to work with everybody. Let us work with all the cards being on the table.
The newly elected MP says he will prioritize development and move speedily owing to the limited time between now and the next election in 2022.
The first priority will be looking at the projects that were left by the late Member of Parliament, Honorable Justice Murunga, to make sure that all those projects are consolidated and completed on time.
Kennedy Muredi, NTV in Matungu, Kakamega County.
Still in the Western region, 4 legislators allied to Deputy President William Ruto, who had been arrested during the Kabuchai by-elections, have today been released on bond. The legislators, Didmas Baraza, Nelson Koech, Wilson Kogo, and Senator Samson Cherargei, will now face charges of conspiracy to commit felony in Kabuchai during the just-ended by-election. Kabuchai MP-elect Majimbo Kalasinga has promised to work with his competitors for the sake of the development of the constituency. Vincent Oduo reports.
After being arrested on Thursday, the 4 leaders who spent the night at Bungoma South Police Station were early Friday taken to Bungoma High Court cells and later arraigned. They were charged with being found with offensive weapons with the intent to commit a felony by causing violence during the Kabuchai by-election. But they denied the charges and were later freed on bond of 50,000 shillings each. Their case will be heard on the 4th of April.
Using the police and the judiciary to fight political dissent, it is extremely unfortunate.
In the by-election that was marked with drama and incidents of attacks, Kabuchai MP-elect Majimbo Kalasinga won the race by garnering 19,274 votes. Political party associated with Deputy President William Ruto UDA's candidate Evans Kakai came second with 6,455 votes. Majimbo says the outcome will have a bearing on the 2022 elections.
I believe that this is a serious indicator that 2022, the unity of purpose of this region, the way it's building up, it will show the direction of the people, where to go.
But Kakai has dismissed the credibility of the by-election.
You can talk of election which people were actually scared from going to the polling stations, and the agents who were there that were opposite to the other function were actually also chased. So I cannot make any comment about that election. But what I can say is that it was a sham.
The landslide win by Ford Kenya has boosted the political capital of Moses Wetangula in Western region and cemented their coalition with Musalia Mudavadi's ANC party in their effort to unite the region while facing national politics.
As we conclude, to salute our sister party, ANC, for also winning the seat of Matungu. This, my brothers and sisters, tells you that the path for the unity of purpose of the Mlembe nation is real and is firmly on the rails, headed to the future.
Mimi Nico area. DP Ruto has really tried to make inroads in Western region, but the poor showing by the UDA party associated with him in Kabuchai shows a lot more work will need to be done. Vincent Odur, NTV, Kabuchai in Bungoma County.
Those are not all the results from the by-elections. Anthony Wachira Nzoke becomes the first successful candidate fronted by the new United Democratic Alliance Party to win in the just concluded mini polls across the country. Despite the ward by-elections being marred by some violence, it is now time for these leaders to perform for their electorate, hoping this was the whole purpose for the by-elections, as Bridget Singana reports.
Anthony Wachira Nzoke becomes the first political child of the United Democratic Alliance Party associated with Deputy President William Ruto after being declared the winner in the London ward by-election.
Ninawahakikishia nitashikana na viongozi ambao wako hapa tuweze kudeliver London ward. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my party leader, His Excellency Deputy President William Ruto.
In Kisii County, ODM retained the Kiamokama seat through Malak Matara, while the Deputy Governor Joash Maangi and some leaders supporting the UDA party candidate Moses Nyakeremba condemned his arrest on polling day.
Kiamokama remains a united ward, and I urge you all to remain united as we're going to work together.
We condemn the further bribery that took place yesterday, and we appeal to peace-loving Kenyans. We appeal to peace-loving Kisii, because this took place in Kisii, to move on. I'm sure next time we'll do better.
In Makueni, Sebastian Muli maintained Wiper Party's hold on the Kitise Kithuku Ward C. In Hell's Gate, Nakuru, Jubilee retained its seat as candidate Virginia Omaitha was declared winner, followed closely by UDA's Jonathan Warothe.
Inakuanga saa ingine ngumu sana kwa mwanaume ama wanaume kukubali wameshindwa na mama. Lakini saa hii wacha tuone naye mama anaweza enda na ni wapi tunaweza fika na mama. Niliwaambia within 1 year tunaweza fanya kazi ya miaka 10.
In Huruma Ward, Uasin Gishu County, the late MCA Peter Chomba's wife, Lucy Ngendo, won the seat through a Jubilee ticket. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Well, we hope the electorate in the respective wards and constituency will take priority over the parties that took them into the new seats or positions. Now to health matters, and the vaccine rollout has officially began today in Kenya at the Kenyatta National Hospital, the first Kenyan being the Acting Director General, Dr. Patrick Amoth. Meanwhile, the government has reiterated the need for Kenyans to shun misinformation revolving around the vaccines. Our health reporter Eunice Omola was there to capture the first jab.
The Director General of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, aka Health Worker 001, received the index vaccine, making him the first Kenyan to receive the first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 jab in the country.
I'm feeling great. That is why I can be able to stand in front of you in this hot sun and address you. So that is an indication that the vaccine is safe.
Dr. Amoth's inoculation opened the chapter of having healthcare workers and other frontline workers in the country protected against the deadly novel coronavirus by receiving the first dose of the vaccine in the first phase of vaccine rollout. 59-year-old Jemima Katama, who is in charge of Infection Prevention Control Unit at the largest referral hospital in the country, became the third healthcare worker after the DG and the Kenyatta National Hospital CEO, Dr. Evanson Kamuri, to be vaccinated.
Chanjo haina uchungu sana, ni ile kidogo tu wakati ngozi inachimbuliwa na shindano kidogo. Sasa hivi sisikii uchungu yoyote baada ya hiyo. Hii chanjo ni muhimu sana kwa wafanyakazi wa hospitali kwa sababu sisi tuko na kwa mstari wa mbele. Wagonjwa wanakuja wanakutana nasi. Kwa hivyo tunatakiwa tuwe na kinga ya kutosha ndio kujizuia kupata zile magonjwa na kueneza kwa familia zetu na watu wengine.
The first phase of the vaccine not only targets direct healthcare workers countrywide, but also those in the hospital system, such as Pauline Achieng, a guard at the Kenyatta National Hospital's main entrance as she operates in a high-risk environment. She formed part of the first frontline workers in the country to be vaccinated due to the nature of her job.
Mimi ndiye upokea kila mgeni anapoingia kwa hospitali. Kwa hivyo kama ni chochote chenye alikuwa nayo, ni mimi ndiko nitaipata mara ya kwanza.
The second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine will be issued in 8 weeks' time. Health officials have reiterated the safety of the vaccine in a bid to quell rumors and misinformation clouding the process.
The Catholic Church has a hierarchy of how things are done. And you remember also, His Holiness the Pope has already received the vaccine. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI has received the vaccine. And Archbishop Muheria, who is the chair of the Interfaith Council, yesterday spoke very, very clearly that the Church supports this licit and legitimate process of trying to combat COVID-19.
A number of counties have already received vaccine vials from the consignment dispatched from the National Vaccine Storage Center in Kitengela. By 2023, the government aims to have vaccinated at least 15 million Kenyans, basically 3 out of 10 Kenyans countrywide, to ensure herd immunity is achieved. The index inoculation today marks yet another milestone by the country in the fight against COVID-19, even as Kenya prepares to mark a year since the first case of COVID-19 was reported in the country, as health officials sound an optimism and readiness call to Kenyans to take up the COVID-19 jab. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
This is a journey we will follow into something else that we're keeping track on a daily basis. It is now 8 days to the first anniversary since the first coronavirus case was announced in Kenya, and today the infections are still at a concerning level, going by the positivity rate. From the latest round of testing, 400 new infections were announced today, coming from 5,189 samples. That is a positivity rate of 7.7%. The total COVID-19 caseload in Kenya is now over 107,000. Unfortunately, 3 more patients succumbed to the virus, raising the death toll to 1,873. On a positive note, there were 77 more recoveries, making the total number of people who have been declared COVID-free so far 87,176. Quick recovery to the 494 patients who are currently admitted in various health centers and the 1,615 who are on home-based isolation and care. With 21 minutes past the hour, NTV Weekend Edition takes a quick break. When we come back, it'll be a different scene. And it is NTV on the Sea with Olive Burrows. I don't know the local name that they have baptized her with, but Halima sounds close, but she'll tell us more after the break.
Get fresh, gotta get fresh.
Down is a boom boom pow, down is boom boom pow. Smells baya na uchafuzi na zibi na improve down is. Protect nguo zangu na nukia niko safi. Lazima niwe fresh na down is boom boom pow. Boom boom pow, down is new boom boom pow. Smells zote na zi boom boom pow. Powerful freshness, down is boom boom pow. Nani 15 bob too?
Fast just got faster. Get fully locked on Airtel 4G. Enjoy our wider coverage. Airtel, the smartphone network.
We've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark.
Have you seen this beautiful place?
Mommy, what is welcome to Garden of Joy?
Buy a value-added plot of land at the Garden of Joy off Kangundo Road that has solar street lights, elevated water tank, and guaranteed security. Deposit 700,000 and get 16K and your Istanbuzi is sorted. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here, the reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there, and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay, so it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
you can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
Kijani Ridge is Tatu City's premier neighborhood, offering a 1.25 acre fully serviced plot in a controlled development. The plots overlook a beautiful dam with natural green spaces. Kijani Ridge is a walking distance from Nova Pioneer and Crawford International Schools. Families are already moved in and more homes are under construction. Contact us for daily site visits and join us for our mega open weekend on 6th and 7th March.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Two guesses where I'm coming to you from, and I'm sure you'll get it right on the first guess. I mean, the tasks behind me signify Mombasa County, I think, better than anything. That's right. NTV has been on the road. This weekend we will be on the sea, courtesy of the Kenya Maritime Authority, coming to you from County 001. And speaking of attractions in Mombasa County, tourist attractions such as the tasks behind me have felt, I imagine, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as Kevin Mutai now tells us, there has been some recovery.
It's more than a year now since the coronavirus pandemic disrupted the tourism industry, shaking it to the core. Stakeholders in the industry suffered huge losses after many countries instituted restrictions, forcing players to focus on domestic markets.
We must give value for our customers, because giving value to our customer is very important. We do recognize that there's a lot of competition around, and for us to survive, especially this time, we must be very, very competitive.
Desperate for business, hoteliers slashed their rates and are now enjoying 70% occupancy.
Last year we didn't go anywhere from Nairobi because of the pandemic. So when I got this chance, I took it. I didn't take it lightly. So I decided to come to Mombasa just to relax for a week and a change of environment from the cold Nairobi weather to the warm and serene Mombasa weather.
So we are basically doing a lot of conferencing, and the way to go has been the MICE way: meetings, incentives, conference and exhibitions, because this is the way where you literally do not have to wait for people to come from outside. These are nationals, these are organizations in our country that would come out and support us. And basically this is how we have managed to stay afloat.
The international market is also picking up, and a charter flight carrying over 200 tourists is expected from Romania next week. Sector players are expecting full recovery soon as the country kicks off vaccinations against COVID-19. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Away from matters of tourism, Deputy President William Ruto has given the strongest indication yet that he will be contesting the 2022 presidential ticket on a ticket other than the Jubilee parties. That's right, though the Deputy President has alluded to the success of the Jubilee government, which he deputizes, he has given, as I said, the strongest indication yet that he will contest the presidency on a UDA ticket. Or rather, that is what is expected. Melita Oletenge's, what's the word, digs into that story.
Deputy President William Ruto started his 3-day tour of Meru County today. The DP condemned his opponents for belittling him and trying to block his 2022 presidential bid.
Na ndio mnaona wanaume wamekasirika na mimi Kenya. Lakini nimewaambia liwe liwalo, juu na chini, Kenya hii ni yetu sisi wote bwana. Ama ni aje? Kwani inasemekana hasla ana haki?
Iko wanaume walikuwa wanakutana huko Nairobi ati wachague mtu moja mkuja msukumiwe, mtakubali?
The Deputy President says he is best suited to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta, claiming the Jubilee government had laid a solid foundation for Kenya's economic takeoff.
Sasa nyinyi kwa maoni yenu, mkiona kwa sababu rais anaenda retire mwaka ujao, kwa hii watu wote, mwingine ya kitendawili, mwingine ya katikati, sijui watermelon, mwingine wa kudandia, sijui kutoka wapi, kwa hiyo watu yote mwenye anaweza kusukuma hii gurudumu iende mbele, ni hasla ama ni wale?
Meanwhile, ODM leader Raila Odinga ended his 5-day Coast Region tour in Kwale County, drumming up support for the BBI. However, Raila seems to be facing rebellion from what was once considered ODM tough.
Yale ambayo tulitambua mimi na Uhuru tulipokaa chini, mengine ni mambo ya ufisadi katika taifa letu, hujuma ya mali ya umma, ambaye mtu zaidi anaingia pale ni membamba kama shindano, lakini baada ya mwaka moja amefura kama kupe.
Even as Raila Odinga was also installed as a Duruma elder today, he is faced with political opposition from the coastal region through an effort by Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi to form a different political front ahead of the 2022 general elections. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
I wish I was leaving you on a lighter note tonight, but unfortunately 2 people died and others are nursing serious injuries after a man who snatched a pistol from a traffic police officer shot at people indiscriminately. That was before he was lynched by angry members of the public. Mamo Ali with that disturbing turn of events.
The victims were in a busy city bus center when a man grabbed a pistol from the traffic police controlling traffic at the roundabout near Kisumu Boys High School. The attack, which happened at about 8 a.m., left 2 people dead, while the traffic police officer and 4 others sustained serious injuries. The man shot the officer before turning the gun on innocent people at a hero stage. One woman was shot on her thigh, while a baba was shot just 20 meters away from the police post at the bus park.
Before reaching on our show, we found people running up and down. Hatukujua chenye inafanyika. On the way, I heard a boom of bullet, and I did not know what happened. On looking my leg, I saw blood.
Fikia stage, nikasikia gunshots. Dakika kidogo nikaona damu kwa mguu both sides.
Eyewitnesses said the man was shooting at those who tried to block his way. He was later cornered by the angry mob, who beat him to death as he attempted to escape. Witnesses to the shooting described the man as wearing a mask and hoodie that concealed much of his face and head.
Lakini ni kama jamaa alikuwa amejiami. Tena ni kama mtu amezoea pistol. Kwa maana mtu mgeni aisika pistol aanze kupiga watu.
Security agencies are investigating the incidents. Mamo Ali, NTV.
I know that was a heavy report, but there will be good news coming out of County 001 this weekend. NTV is on the sea, courtesy of the Kenya Maritime Authority. Dan Mwangi should have arrived by now. I'll go look for him as Mark Masai comes back with the business news.
I don't know what we're after yet. You have to be alone and I got you on my mind. Always on my mind. Always on my mind.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
What is family? Family is a solid foundation to build on and a strong pillar to lean on. It is believing in each one of us for the betterment of all of us. Family is working together today to win together tomorrow. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. It is knowing we are valued, respected, understood, and most of all, supported. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank, with you for life.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Ni ukweli imeshuka bei. Smartphone ya nguvu 4G, screen kubwa ya kuwatch game ni 3,999 pekee.
Ni ukweli, ni kutoka Safaricom. Iko na betri kubwa na apps zote za Google unazozipenda. Isitoshe inakuja na 3 months free WhatsApp, unachat hadi usiku na kesho ingine.
Ni ukweli, plus free education bundles za Shupavu 291 na KICD. What?
Ni ukweli, bei ya Neon Ray Pro sasa ni 3,999 pekee. Pata smartphone ya nguvu kwa bei nafuu kutoka kwa duka la Safaricom au dila leo. Safaricom, for you.
When I open my eyes, I see beauty you can't believe. Oh mama, no place I'd rather be. Masai, Kenya. Duniani hamna kama we, nothing better. Si unapendeza. Let the sun shine over you, my love. Your sounds heal my soul. Nothing better. Kenya unapendeza. Ona vile wanashindwa kuka. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Alcoholism is a conversation that is still heard in hushed tones, but the reality is it is with us.
I didn't know it was something that will lead to my downfall, you know. I was just like, hey, this is the life.
I went to Germany, and in Germany actually alcohol is cheaper than food. And I got a Muzungu boyfriend who was an alcoholic, and we came back and got married. 6 months down the line, he died.
The conversation is about alcoholism, the reality that is today, and how best we can support those that are struggling with this disease.
Help build a strong foundation for your growing child with Nestle Nunkid. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
Let's do business. The National Assembly Budget and Appropriations Committee is questioning the source of funds being deployed in Kenya's COVID-19 vaccination exercise, stating that there was no such provision in the budget. In its report on the budget policy statement dated March 4th, 2021, the committee states that no resources have been provided for the acquisition of vaccines, and neither has a government indicated intended investments towards alternative medical solutions in response to COVID-19. Julian Samboko with more on this.
On the day that Kenya kick-started its COVID-19 vaccination exercise, the National Assembly's Budget and Appropriations Committee is questioning the source of funds being used to support the exercise. With available data indicating that the government has earmarked 14.3 billion shillings for the COVID-19 deployment project, the Budget and Appropriations Committee states that, and I quote, "There is no mention in the budget policy statement of 2021 regarding the acquisition and availability of the COVID-19 vaccines. No resources have been provided for the acquisition of the vaccines," end of quote. The committee goes further ahead to decry what it terms as underfunding of Masai and Nairobi referral hospitals to allow them to respond adequately to emerging challenges in the health sector. With regard to the country's fiscal position, the Assembly's Budget and Appropriation Committee is tabling a number of proposals which it argues will help mend Kenya's deteriorating financial position. The committee now wants the fiscal deficit for the financial year between July 2021 and June 2022 to be capped at 930 billion shillings or 7.5% of the gross domestic product, whichever is lower. This is part of the recommendations of the committee's report, which aims at trimming Kenya's soaring debt burden. Among its proposals, the committee also wants the government to take steps towards re-angling its debt mix to have local debt account for at least 57% of the total debt portfolio, compared to the current 48%, which leaves the country exposed to foreign exchange risks. The Budget and Appropriations Committee is further proposing that the Treasury proposed allocation to counties of 409 billion shillings, of which 90.3% is equitable share allocation, be endorsed by the National Assembly. The committee is also warning that the conversion of the road maintenance levy funds to equitable share allocation could be a violation of the Road Maintenance Levy Fund Act of 1993. The committee says it would like this to be addressed before the passage of the Division of Revenue Bill. Julian Amboko, NTV.
Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia says the decision to allow Kenya Railways to gradually take over the operations of the standard gauge railway was a result of mutual agreement with the Chinese operator. The decision comes 6 months after Parliament raised a red flag over the high cost of operating the SGR, asking the government to renegotiate the terms of the loan taken to finance the project. Victor Kiprop is on track for that.
The operations of Kenya's most expensive infrastructure project, the Standard Gauge Railway SGR, could be firmly in the hands of Kenya Railways by mid-next year, after the corporation began a gradual assumption of operations from the Chinese operator.
We agreed jointly, mutually with the contractor that we need to start this transfer from the imported labor to local labor.
Africa Star Railway, a subsidiary of China Road and Bridge Corporation CRBC, was contracted in May 2017 to run the passenger and cargo trains on the SGR, but the government recently reached a deal to take over the operations and maintenance by May 2022, amid mounting concerns over the huge operation costs of up to 1.8 billion shillings that the contractor was billing Kenya Railways for its services every month.
But that's also informed by the fact that they have trained so many of our Kenyans. You have seen, for example, even young ladies, like the one we had when we were launching the project, driving those big trains, the most modern trains, being actually driven by our young men and women.
Kenya Railways has already assumed ticketing, security and fueling functions on the SGR passenger service. In 2019, the government forced importers to use the SGR to move cargo from Mombasa to Nairobi in order to save the SGR's cargo business, a service the government now says is gaining popularity.
I remember for the cargo, it was I think 1st of January 2018, one train. Now we are moving on average 12 trains per day.
As a result, the Ministry of Transport says utilization of the Nairobi Internal Container Depot has hit an optimum level of 75%. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business.
And that's it from the business desk tonight.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na corona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya umma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
My darlings, my love will protect you from everything, visible and invisible. We might not always have plenty, but we will always have enough. And whatever Mama touches will magically turn into more for you. Just one capful of Dettol is enough to disinfect surfaces and protect your family and your home. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Una vile wanashindwa kukata. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Kira! Kira? Where are you?
Malaria!
That's why you need the superior protection of Mortein 360-degree reach. Only this has 11 fans which enable it to reach the farthest corners. Mortein, total indoor protection.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Welcome back. In what seemed like a break for content creators on the interwebs, the political scenes took over this week, and from the by-elections, the scenes were shameful to say the least. And Sydney Chazima captured the circus from the clowns calling themselves leaders.
My oh my, what do we have here? We all have the same question running through our minds. What happened to him? The naked truth of the pathetic politics in Kenya laid bare. Lucky for this man, someone covered for him.
This is my money.
Then there was Malala, fighting for what he said was his mullah.
This man is stealing from me.
Poor man, someone found his stash. A wrestle for cash and supremacy in Matungu, and a tear gas display in Nakuru. Looks like scenes out of a movie, but this is real. A really sad state of affairs in Kenyan politics. Something Langata MP career has turned into a game.
He took it first time and with devastating effect.
Career serving at 1, police receiving at 0. It is a scramble for that precious vote, and with it, precaution has been thrown to the wind.
Ndugu, mbona hauna mask?
Mazi sio maski ndio inapiga kura, ni mimi mwenyewe Patrick ndio napiga kura.
Unajua IBC jana alisema kwamba kama hauna mask, hata kama wewe ni registered voter, hautaruhusiwa kupiga kura na nakuona kwa line. Kwani inakuaje?
Basi waje niende basi. Rosafi tu.
Rastaman don't mask reality. But the coffee served in Matungu was hotter. Tabia mbaya. This is a slap in the face of decency. In other words, Sydney Chazima, NTV.
And you can expect more of this from Sydney Chazima on the political scene. Just some satire, although a lot of it was just shameful. Next up is sports with Ida Waringa, and we got a win for Team NTV, as you will see from a top story.
Family is working together today. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank, with you for life.
Sunday night, All-Star game, looking forward to it and hopefully get that win.
This is good.
Mwese, tune in.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Have you seen this beautiful place?
Mommy, what is welcome to Garden of Joy?
Buy a value-added plot of land at the Garden of Joy off Kangundo Road that has solar street lights, elevated water tank, and guaranteed security. Deposit 700,000 and get 16K and your Istanbuzi is sorted. Call us on 0790 300 300.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
What would you do with 50 million Kenya shillings?
Kuambia kuna vitu mingi. Mimi nataka nyumba, nataka gari, all that can accommodate. Nataka ku travel, I need new things.
Lotto is now bigger and better kwa sababu you can now win yourself big amounts of money in the daily draw, the mega jackpot, and of course 100,000 Kenya shillings each and every day of the week minus Wednesday and Saturday.
Tunasema kuwa utanuke na Lotto. What that means is right now ukiweka ile stake yako ya 50 shillings all the way to 1,000 Kenya shillings, we multiply that by 50,000 kama umematch all your 6 numbers. That means ukicheza for example na 1,000 shillings unaweza kuwa multimillionaire. You can win yourself 50 million Kenya shillings, our new jackpot amount.
Swali leo ni wewe utazifanya nini na 50 million Kenya shillings? Paybill number kumbuka ni 77700. Account number ni live. Kila laheri, changamka, cheza Lotto.
Great, let's get right into the world of sport. And the NBA is now free to air. Yes, the NBA is coming to NTV. The Nation Media Group and National Basketball Association have signed a multi-year partnership that makes NTV the official free-to-air broadcast partner of the NBA in Kenya. The partnership will tip off Monday on NTV when Team LeBron takes on Team Durant in the 70th NBA All-Star Game. That will be at 2:30 a.m. East African time. NTV will broadcast more than 25 live games throughout the second half of the 2020-2021 NBA season, including regular season games, the NBA playoffs, and conference finals, as well as a weekly magazine show called NBA Action. I like that. 2:30 a.m. East African time. You better get used to us saying that. League leaders Tusker FC bounced back from a loss in the previous round of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League with a slim 1-0 win over Ulinzi Stars. That was at the Kasarani Annex. The Brewers extended their lead courtesy of a Boniface Mushiri goal in the 51st minute to give them 3 points and a clean sheet. Tusker are now on 35 points after 15 games, while Ulinzi are 10th with 17 points from a similar number of matches played in the day's other match. Kariobangi Sharks played out to a 0-0 draw with Posta Rangers that sees Kariobangi maintain 5th spot on 25 points with a game in hand, while Posta Rangers are 14th with 11. Great. And the third edition of the Eldoret City Marathon will see the use of an electronic timing system for the race set for 11th April. The electronic chips, which are fixed on athletes' shoes, are a more efficient method for getting the exact timings. The announcement was made Friday as registration of athletes officially kicked off for the race. With the male and female winners getting a check of 3.5 million shillings each, the marathon is billed as the highest paying marathon in Africa. The central theme of the Eldoret City Marathon, which earned global recognition from the Abbott World Marathon Majors, is environmental conservation.
And I want to urge our athletes that now we will be our time will be official worldwide. And you know again that our course also is measured by world measurers. So
we want to ask our athletes to avoid the use of banned substances. It's an offense. It destroys the image of the race. It affects the image of the county and the country.
And Olympics Kenya held a consultative meeting with national federations to sensitize them on the programs, initiatives and international events lined up within the quadrennial, quite a mouthful there, 2021 to 2024 period. The meeting was to ignite a collective responsibility and effort with the ultimate goal of preparing for Kenya's participation at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The events lined up from now that were represented and ranged from the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham all the way to the 2024 Olympic Games that will be in Paris, France. The Tokyo Olympic Games in Japan this year, of course, fall into this quadrennial due to the postponement caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
For the various people that they've been elected, we want to focus on the effectiveness of the current talent pathway and identify training and supporting them.
Great, that does it for sport for tonight. Much more tomorrow on an action-packed Saturday. It's back to Mark Masai.
I'm not predicting this, but I'm not a prophet, but I do suggest that we will be having more eyeballs from the fans of basketball. Thank you for that to the team from the sports desk and others who've gotten us those exclusive rights to be running the NBA games. Now, just as we end up, 6 casual workers have died on the spot and 7 others hospitalized when the lorry they were traveling in was involved in an accident at Mudhiga Farm near Mwisho Alami Trading Center along Njoro Mau Narok Road. The Njoro Sub-County Police Commander Jonathan Kisaka has confirmed, and the story will be following up for our bulletins tomorrow. And with that, NTV Weekend Edition ends, and we get into the trend with Amina Abdi Rabar, the beautiful Amina Abdi Rabar, who's in good company, as I'm told some of her guests are as beautiful. You want to stick by for that. Have yourself a good evening.